Hey, welcome to Terra Talks. I'm joined by the absolutely brilliant Barry Everson. Barry, how are you?
Thank you. I don't know if I can live up to that intro, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, let's let the audience decide, and they can make comment, and decide if they like both of us or they don't. It's an open forum to let anybody annoy the fuck out of us. So why not? Let them
Yeah,
target us.
like we
Buddy.
discussed earlier, all's open. Any rabbit hole you want to go down, we can just dive in, brother.
It's about like my analogy about opinions are like arseholes, and some ones are nice and worth investigating, but others are pretty shitty. So it
sometimes you
works.
get, sometimes you got to go through the shit to get to the pleasant smell on the other side.
Yeah, maybe we should add the back and go and look. Every arsehole should be bleached, but some maybe no bleached so much.
Yeah,
But I like the way you're going. I like your
everyone has
mindset.
one that's they're on their toes.
Oh, we're not even a minute into this and we're already away. So this is going to be eventful. Uh,
Yes.
Barry, give us a bit of your background. What you currently up to, work-wise, stuff like that.
Ooh. Okay. Well, kind of went through my major awakening about in early part of 2018, but I was
Right?
probably somewhat always semi-awake as a child.
Yeah.
I'm probably a little bit older than you, but I grew up. I
Slightly.
was old enough to see the NASA moon landing, if that really
All
happened
right.
on TV,
Yeah, yeah.
or at least happened the way we think it did. But that was a big deal when I was growing up. It was all about
Yeah.
space toys, sci-fi movies, and I was always interested in all that stuff. So that always was something I connected to from the youngest of ages.
Yeah.
And then you get programmed through society, and
Yeah.
you learn all the things that they want to teach you, and you get away from kind of who you were as a kid.
Yeah.
Uh, and I guess one of the things that stuck with me is I've had some family members that have had some abduction experiences.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so that I don't want to get totally into that because
No,
that's their
no, no.
story, but it
Yep,
was a
absolutely.
part of my upbringing. It was something that I was always consciously aware of,
Yeah.
and that always something in the back of my mind. So
Yeah.
always
Wow.
interested in all things sci-fi, all
Yeah.
things otherworldly, Sasquatch, of course, which is
Yeah, it's a
a
big
big
thing for
one
you,
to
isn't
this
it?
day. But
Yeah. Show
but
your t-shirt. Show your t-shirt.
uh, yeah, everyone can say it.
There we
So,
go. Social
champ.
distancing champion. I love it. I absolutely love it.
but but yeah, it was something I always stayed involved with, and
Yeah.
then you just fall into the normal rut. You fall into the
Yeah.
3D world. You do the job. You get married, and you just like get to a point where is this as good as it gets? Is this all there is? And
Yeah.
then you get complacent, and God,
Yeah.
I gained probably 60 pounds and
Right.
gotten really out of shape at one point. And whereas I used to always be somebody that was very
Yeah.
athletic,
Yeah.
I
No.
had a couple back surgeries, and I was just in pain all the time.
Oh,
I had bursitis in both hips, and I'm like
jeez.
falling apart here. And then I started doing CBD oil, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden it kind of like blew open the pineal gland, and then all of a sudden it was like somebody cranked open the fire hydrant, and the water hose just shot off, and it's like, man, I was just a sponge for information. And then it's like, man, my body's getting healthier. I'm not having
Yeah.
pain anymore. And then it's been a gradual process. I'm not quite
Yeah.
back to where I was, but I'm pretty
But
close
but
right now.
but you're
But my
you're yeah, you're
my
heading
health's
in the
better than it
direction
was
you want
16
to.
years ago.
Yeah.
So
I love that you said that because again, everybody that I speak to, and especially Starseeds, we've all got a similar story. We've all got
right,
that fascination with sci-fi. Especially, I'm slightly younger than you, right?
right.
So I'm in '70s, so I remember,
Okay.
that it's almost that generation, and maybe early '80s, that it's still that fascination with sci-fi, with mystical creatures, with that kind of fantasy world, and. Some of the pain joints, and I was like you, I couldn't believe something as simple as CBD oil. I'm going,
Right.
oh my god, my back, my knees with being a bricklayer were quite damaged. I don't have any arthritis pain in there at all.
Yeah. So you
Certain
went through that too.
yeah, yeah, and like you said that, that old pineal gland, and you're going, oh,
like,
oh,
like
oh,
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 wait a minute, like there's a whole
oh,
different world out there.
yeah. What's this? What's
And wait, these politicians, I knew they were lying, but they're actually pretty organized, and they're not as dumb as we think they are. They're working in tandem here.
yeah. You know, and again, it's a great shout, but so like you said, you've been pretty honest there. You've you made changes. You CBD oil. You're not there yet, but you're heading in the right direction, aren't you? You're headed where you want to be, and much like you, in my late 40s, I'm in better shape or getting towards better shape. And the last time I was last was my early 20s.
Right.
So I had a whole kind of
awesome.
15 year, probably much like yourself, because I bought into the whole professional, not lifestyle, but professional job, or you buy the house, you have to get married, and it's almost like that kind of programming or staging. You need to be this by 30, you need to be this by 35 and 40. I bought all that shit, hook, line and sinker, and I'm divorced. I've got 3 grown-up kids that barely talk to me, and it's just me and the dog, and it's not that I want that relationship with him. I want the one we had.
Yeah.
But instead of feeling sorry for ourselves, we're trying to make a difference, and especially with our own lives, because we believe that doing that in our work, and it's a nice lead on in our work, we know that makes a difference. What's your inner work, Barry? What do you? Is it meditation? Is it contemplation?
It's a combination of things. Nature's one for me, and I got away from that so much. And when I was a child, we were just out all day. It was like you'd walk out the door and you tell your parents, you'd be home by dark. That was it.
When the street lights come on.
that was just the day. It's like, don't even show up until it comes.
I can relate so much.
Trees where you're hanging out in swamps, and it's like you didn't even think anything of it back then. That was just, the way it was. But kids don't do that anymore.
No.
Now, having said that, I similar to you, I'm recently divorced. My wife separated last year, and for different reasons. More so that we just grew apart, and I wanted to be more outward and going places, and she kind of just wanted. She's very awake, but she wanted to very much fall back into her 3D life. And like me, I got to be out there. I got to be learning all there is to learn, and being out there amongst like-minded people. But I have a son that's grown up, and I have 2 grandkids, and
excellent.
I have a very good relationship with my son and my grandkids.
Good.
He is very challenged by some of the things I come up with and say, and it pushes his boundaries quite a bit. But so it's a fine line I got to walk with.
Yeah, so I'm not allowed to talk about the deep state. I'm not allowed to talk about the reptilians and stuff. Which I get, because the youngsters are a sponge. They'll take all that information in, but especially, what's your thoughts on incarnation? I'd love to hear your view on incarnation.
I truly believe in it.
Yeah.
I know. In years past, I think with me, I tried to do the conventional religion thing, and I've tried to do the conventional educational thing, and there's just something inside of me that always turned to all that, because it just it never resonated as truth with me on any level. And like there's partial truths in it all, but there's so much dogma and hidden. And I do believe in reincarnation. I do believe we've had past lives, and I do believe I think for the most of us that are here now, this is the life
This is what we were training
in this
for.
body, move into the next phase, and help transition anybody that we can help as far as understanding some of the information that we've been processing for the last several years that they may not have been receptive to yet, because darkness is lack of knowledge, light is knowledge in many ways.
I love that.
If you're just shut off to the if you're listening to mainstream science, if you're listening to mainstream media, and you're not looking beyond that for the alternative sciences, then our brain frequencies operate at all different dimensional levels, and this is well known. It's measurable. Out there from the 80s, where they did studies on this. They know how to manipulate your brain waves by sending frequencies. as human beings, we cannot see 99% of visual or ultraviolet light. We can see
Yeah.
less than 1%. So how is it that we think that we know everything, and there could be 99%,
Yeah.
more going on around us than we can visually see? So,
Absolutely.
just to put it,
No, it's a great show, and like you
yeah,
said, because of that, and even with your hearing as well, it's almost the same kind of number. So if we even had 1% extra, in sight and hearing, what would we be seeing?
yeah,
Would we be seeing these other dimensions that we're
right,
currently living in the present moment? I mean,
sure,
it's mind blowing. But like you said, there's documents, and if you were so kind of government minded, go to CIA website.
yeah, it's
It
right there.
documents this. Yeah, it documents astral projection, holographic universe.
Absolutely, everything, yeah.
Yes.
Biofeedback, brain entrainment, all of it, yes.
Oh, I
And
mean, it's
even the mainstream scientists admit that there's 11 different dimensions that our brains can operate in. There's
yeah,
more.
yeah. It's
So,
crazy, and even Hawkins, even Stephen
yeah.
Hawkins. I mean,
Oh
it's a
yeah,
mainstream thing that they will only cherry pick the bits that they want them, the bits that they aligned with. But there's so much more to the way he talked. Even near the end of his life, he was talking about, like even the Big Bang had a starting point, and could have that been, God or source. Oh, for fuck's sake, we can't have him talking like that,
yeah.
It's crazy. Um, you've been to ESETI, which is a wonderful place. It's a place I've tried to get
It's
to for the last couple of
quite
years.
amazing. It's
Yeah, can you
if you go
describe?
there and you see the things that most of us see there, then you'll have a different perspective on life afterwards. Let's put it that way, because you once you've seen those things, you're not going to watch Ancient Aliens say, "Could aliens be real? They might just be." No, I just saw like 300 ships fly over the night and Bigfoot run across the field. The ship's real.
I love that impression. It was bang on, so it was,
I'm
and
just laying it out there.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I can just imagine it. But as well as I do, it's a great starting point. But like you said,
Yeah.
especially you've experienced that in real time, right? With many
Right.
others that we know. And I picked up, I think it was on Prime Video, there was like an Ancient Aliens one. I said, look, I'll just have a
Right.
watch. But see, when you're now watching Linda Moulton Howe,
Yeah.
and all this, kind of cabal-led disclosure,
Yeah.
trying to give you all this nonsense, you're going,
Yeah.
fucking
Nick
go to
Pope
your
is the
set.
Minister of Defense for Britain, but he doesn't know
Oh,
anything.
oh, Christ,
He went to ESETI and filmed James' hand. James will never stop talking about that. He became a hand model.
He's one of the worst. He represents my country, for fuck's sake, in the disclosure community. I mean, he was at that disclosure thing when the senators and Greer, and he goes, I work for the British MOD. I can neither confirm nor deny the existence.
Yeah.
Going, what the fuck are you doing there then? What I mean? What the fuck are you doing there? I went to Rendlesham Forest, and all I can tell you is, well, I can't, because I can neither confirm nor deny. Well, you're fucking useless then, aren't you?
No, we know the narrative.
Yeah.
Disclosure is never going to come from, from the TV, from the government.
Yeah.
It's going to come from the skies, and it's going to come from your connection to wanting to go out there and see the truth. And a lot of people, are reluctant to go to these places where they can actually see these things. The cognitive dissonance kicks in.
Great show.
It's uncomfortable for them. It's not within the belief system. And then what else does it kick up? It makes them think about religion. It makes them think about
That's evolution, all these types of things.
Death.
It blows. It just doesn't blow the the are we alone in the universe part, but out. It literally blows everything out of the water.
Yeah, but I've been to ESETI, back to back this year, and then 2 other times.
Yeah.
And I mean, every time you have just an experience that's mind blowing there, and the energy of the land alone. Literally, you just get there, you feel like you're in a whole different place. I mean, it is literally like a different dimension. I can't explain it without you being there, but like whatever your flow state, whatever just being on the land is just enough. You're just
Yeah.
one with nature, and you start connecting to everything. And
Yeah.
if you're open-minded, you're going to have an experience there.
Yeah. Can you cover? You opened up for Tyler this year, didn't you? And I never said I wouldn't ask you. I just said I might bring it up. Can you introduced him this year, didn't you?
What was that?
You introduced Tyler this year, didn't you? At ESETI as a speaker. Yeah. How did it go?
And well, he gave me the opportunity. We did it in Florida too. But,
oh, right, brilliant.
Yeah, but yeah, I met Tyler and Aaron and Kate and a lot of people at ESETI.
Brilliant people.
The year before last, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've just been friends and been in touch, and we've gotten together for all these events, and we just have an absolute blast everywhere we go.
Yeah.
And and Tyler's kind of made it a point the last few times, when we've been at events, to have me do the introduction for the show. And then do you know what? The one in Florida was the infamous meme where we were talking about where they took the picture of me. Not quite as fit as I'd like to be, but that was.
I love it. I still love it. I wanted to introduce you as Barry What Virus Everson, but I was like, no. We'll discuss it first. Then I'll throw it out there. I still love it because you know that reface app. You and I and Gary and various people. Yeah.
But it is hilarious.
We've had some riot, haven't we? The Liberal Star Seeds one with Tyler and Gary and Kate. So but humour for me, I tried this kind of last year, and I've been open about it to Tyler and Aaron and Alara and Rob, that you respect these people so much, you want to take a little bit of them all the best bits, and then when I was doing it, I found where was my own voice. What am I putting? I didn't want to be like a cheap replica, because that's what I felt like, because these people have been doing this, they've built up the platforms, absolutely outstanding the stuff they do, and they've got whistleblowers contacting them, all the rest of it. So I was like, well, where does my, what can I do to try and make that difference to one person? I was like, well, maybe I can mix a bit of humour, but it's also getting the right people, and I think even this, just honestly, mate, I love you, and I'm going to tell everybody right now, the messages that you send, I know you probably send it to a lot of people, but to me, you always sent it when, I don't know how, whether it was telepathy or whatever, it was almost when I needed to hear it the most. And it was as simple as, I fucking love you, bro. And I'm like, oh my God, I fucking love you too. So, do you know, but that's the power, that's the impact that, we're told we're average, we're told we're just running the mill. No, we're fucking not. We're spirits, we're God and goddesses in a flesh form. And, that telepathy connection with the way the world's vibrating, the way that, where it's going in the universe, all these superpowers are coming into us, like people remote viewing now, telepathy, like, you think of somebody before the call or message.
Absolutely.
But on the other end of the scale is that, I was feeling down, and then all of a sudden this message comes through from you. Hey bro, fucking love you. And that's it, that's all it needs to be said. And I'm like, wow, he fucking loves me, fucking lying here in tears before I can answer you back,
Well, I try to be as encouraging as I can to everybody in this community, because I know so many people are coming from the heart space, and they just want to put genuine information out there and get people to think, and and you get beat up for that a lot in this community.
You do. It's a tough community.
Some people get beat up by their friends and family, but unfortunately, what we're seeing a lot is people beating up each other within the community, and that shit's got to stop. I mean, it really does, because we're all in this together. We're all just trying to figure it out together, put the information out there, and work together. And we need to support each other. We have so much more in common than we do apart, and I personally am just not going to get into insulting people. We're all learning our own discernment. Some people out there, maybe they're not putting true information out, or maybe they're putting information out as they are perceiving it or receiving it.
Exactly.
But it's only as good as the person and the channel or the individual. And you have your own discernment. You can pick the parts that resonate with you, and you can throw away the rest. And that's kind of what I try to do.
I think we're more and more into that kind of that timeline, so to speak, now, that you can cry for sources, you can cry for backup information, But you know, when you're in that present moment, when you're in that kind of high timeline for yourself, you can instantly know if something's bullshit or not.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Truth has its own frequency, and so does bullshit. So
yeah. Again, it goes. It boils. Everything boils down to an asshole, mate.
Back to the assholes.
Back to the assholes, man. Back to the assholes. When we were off camera in the green room, as is my new fucking thing now, even though it's not possible. We talked about what we discussed, and you gave a great shout about disclosure in movies. Do you want to let's kick that off, because I think that could be a real interesting conversation.
That could be like 5 shows itself, but
listen, but I never told you this isn't a one-off thing. This isn't a one-off thing. I'd like to do this maybe once every 5 weeks or something. Yeah, go on then, go for it.
Well, so one of the first movies, and I couldn't watch it when I was young because it was probably too much to absorb, but 2001: Space Odyssey was one of the first movies that I guess I watched in full, that I never watched like after I'd kind of had my opening. Yeah. Oh my God, what disclosure in that movie! First off, they're showing the secret space program going to Mars, Saturn, Jupiter. Yeah. And, before we were even supposedly on the moon. Yeah. They had, and then if you remember, the red face of Mars was not filmed until 1976, supposedly by NASA. Yeah. Well, they pulled up a probe in that movie that was the red face of Mars. It came out in 1968. Yeah. They had video chess. They had ATM machines. Yeah. And this was 1968. Yeah. And then they showed the Stargates and the multidimensional consciousness as they were traveling through it. So you think they just like where does that come from if it's not already seeded? And
the AI. How?
Oh yeah. That too.
And what a shout! I mean, I forgot all about that about the red face of Mars. I mean, what a film! And it's also at the very start is it's not so much the black cube; it's more like a black slab, but you can see the effects it's having on the creatures around it. No, it's a great shout.
It popped out of me. Star Trek's another one. They did some episodes where, they talk about every star race there. Plus, they had an episode called Return of the Archons. If Jermaine was here, he'd go off on this. But
he would, wouldn't he?
But, literally, the people were walking around in a daze, and then then a siren would go off, and they'd all start beating the shit out of each other, and then it would stop, and then they'd be like walking around in a daze again. Yeah. And they uncover like the real culprit. It's a computer behind the scenes going off. So it's like, hello.
I
mean, frequencies. It's like.
Star Trek's a great shout, because we know, if you look into Gene Roddenberry, he was one of the 12 that channeled information, and even when the first series came out, scientists then said, look, if this technology was available, the science works, warp drive and various other things. Right. And I know, big Star Wars fan, but the original trilogy, but there's a lot to be said, even in Star Trek, the original movie. Right. So there's so much disclosure, and even new ones with J.J. Abrams, they talk about, that an event happens that, resets the human race, that, money is no longer, it's wiped out, so to speak, but we all work, no work, but, it's all for the greater good, because we're all part of the Galactic Federation, and the massive bit of disclosure that kind of probably excites a lot of us is knowing that just outside Earth is all this, warp drive. We're talking Stargates. We're talking, secret space program. We're talking all deep space, kind of ships and stuff outside Jupiter. I mean, are we going to see this in you and I's lifetime? I do. I believe that. I believe that we will see that.
I believe we will too. I mean, look at SG-1. It's the Air Force is signing off on it, basically. Like, they're telling you it's virtually a true account. Yeah. And if you want to go deep stank a little, look at all the Marvel series of movies. It goes from Iron Man to where we were sending arms to, the insurgents. It goes to Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Super Soldier.
Project Paperclip, where they all infiltrated from within, and it goes to quantum realms to
Do you know,
Thanos, wanting to wipe out half the population. Hello.
was that a warning now? Was Infinity Wars a warning?
Yeah.
2019, do you know what I mean? With motorway, do you know what I mean? And you're going, have you seen the last 18 months? But you're right. I mean, the whole entire Marvel universe, so to speak, is just full of disclosure that's been about for, I don't know, half a century, whatever.
Right.
But another thing, it's great that you point out this, is that you know the way the rhetoric goes with regards to a superhero, that you've got to be a billionaire, Batman, right, and you've got to go through tragedy, or you've got to be injected with the super serum for the super soldier, you've got to fall into a vat of chemicals, and next thing you're a crime fighter. But the way you and I look at things is that, or a lot of the discussions is that we innately have this power within us. We just don't remember. You know, there you go, dormant. So what is it they say? It's something like 90% of our DNA is called junk DNA, and nobody kind of really knows. And one of the biggest shifts I had in my own perception was to stop looking at myself as a body with a soul, is to look at myself primarily as an infinite soul that's just in a body, and it changed a lot of things for me. It just, I try and practice remote viewing, but it kind of happens spontaneously sometimes to me, which is crazy, but right across the board. So there's disclosure within disclosure within disclosure to try and to go, look, you can only be this superhero if you're a billionaire, if you're falling back, or if you're like Superman, my favourite superhero of all time. Though I did see a meme of a dog called Bobby that get into New York Zoo, and he's got a tiger and he's pumping at the back of it, and I was like, look, forget Iron Man, forget Superman, Bobby the dog is my new superhero. And you're like, wow. But you get what I mean? So there's even that controlling element to say you cannot be this powerful being because you're not a billionaire, you've no dark trauma. How many of us have went through worse than what, say, Batman went through, or Bruce Wayne, or we talked about incarnation. We probably come from all different planets or star systems, Palladians, Jupiter, all these different things. So
we're mutts for sure.
But like you say, if you do that inner work, if you get that stuff done, and you don't need to, do you think you need to be religious every day with your practices, Barry, to generate or power up that DNA?
Well, one of the strongest things for me is natural sunlight, and it's the easiest and simplest thing. Yes, our bodies need that vitamin D, it nourishes us, but there is light codes coming from the sun, and that's what's reconnecting our dormant DNA. We actually have 12 strands of double helix DNA, and most of them have been disconnected up to this point, and we're coming back online. It's a natural evolution. Here's the simplest red pill you could ask somebody, and I'll ask you, and you'll know the answer. 20 years ago, when you looked at the sun, what color was it?
It was yellow.
What color is it now?
White.
Why is that? We're in a different,
absolutely,
area of the universe. We're getting different cosmic rays and radiation.
I've got chills right now because I was like, I really hope he asks about the sun. And that's really? I honestly, and so either you were thinking about it or whatever, and then that just proves that there's 5,000 miles between us, land and sea. We're live right now having this chat, and I went, oh Christ, is he thinking about that, or am I? And then you mentioned it. I want to go a bit further. See, when you stare at it long enough, it's as if there's a rotating ring round it as well. Am I just seeing that? Because it's not a thick thing, and it looks as if it's not a ring, but it's almost like a kind of vibrating, resonating ring. But you're absolutely right. It's almost brilliant white. That kind of you mentioned light codes. I'm just going to shout this out. It's sources light. You talk about golden white, kind of light, and that's what it reminds me of.
Prana energy.
Oh, so it's a great shout, and think about, right around the world for the last 18 months, They locked us down. They didn't want us out in the
Yes.
sunlight. They didn't want us start human electromagnetic connection. And
Why
you
do they do?
start,
Why do they do the chemtrails? They're blocking out the sun because it's upgrading our freaking DNA.
yeah,
And you know, and I get a little frustrated. I try to be calm, but it's like, when you see 20 jet planes not leaving any kind of a trail, and then you
yeah,
see a planes at the same height, same level, they're like, oh, they're contrails. No, you can tell actual
yeah,
clouds have a body and a formation. The other ones are all misty if it's a
yeah.
chemtrail. And you can see it, and on certain days it's just they don't even hide it anymore. They go in these grid patterns and they just throw it right in your
I
face.
know, man.
Like look up, people. It's right there in front of you. Like honestly,
But there you go. There's the
yeah.
reason why, and I'm guilty of it myself. I'm still guilty of, I don't know so much in the house, but if I take her out, to everybody that doesn't know, I'm single. I'm talking about my dog.
Lucky, right?
Yeah, yeah, lucky. And
I got Bella back there somewhere. She's
Bella, yeah,
Dorothy Maltese, but
lovely. She's conked out now. She's kind of got one eye open, going, "Oh, he's at this shit again." I just wish he would take me out. I wish he would stop talking. For fuck's sake, Dad, stop talking. But it's a great shout, and you make that easy comparison that you'll have that jet. You can have 12 go over, and then what's a natural trail that comes off it, right?
right.
And then you can have this passenger jet or whatever fly over, and you go, why is that such a difference? And like you said, people just look up. Don't just look at the meme and go, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, even though there's enough evidence to say this is what they're doing. A lot of the stuff came out of Germany, I believe. But we're so guilty now of even being outside. I'll walk around the park, I'll put the earphones in, and I'll just throw the ball for her. But the amount of people, it's in the screen now. So do you think that could possibly be a design? The whole mobile phone and social media, that it's almost, in the news is 24/7, and they want to keep your focus away from enjoying nature, enjoying out walk, and stop looking in the sky.
They want to keep you. It's an ages old division game. It's us versus them. Race versus race.
Yeah.
Left versus right. Sports team versus sports team. It's anything to divide you, keep you out of nature, out of expanding your mind, out of connecting with your higher self. It's all a division game, and it's not working anymore. That's the thing, and they know it.
I know. You're absolutely right, and the desperation is there to be seen, because like you said, that you're outside, you're getting all these light codes, it's upgrading your DNA piece by piece, and all it takes is a certain amount of, what do they call it, the 100th monkey, or a certain number of people to come into that absolute power, and oh my god, they will be panicking, because they just can't have, even if you boiled it down to 100 people worldwide that come into that power, they can't have that, because they're also so powerful. Can you imagine if you looked up and you actually seen somebody fly, or all these fucking things? It just, again, it's like, that's why people won't go to ESA, won't go to these camp disclosures, won't go to the Starseed, because it breaks everything for them.
Yeah, the cognitive dissonance kicks in, and it challenges their mindset, and and the one thing I found too is you cannot. A lot of people in this community try to force their their opinions and their awakenings with knowing other people, and you can't do that, because you're just going to lose them at that point.
Yeah.
But the very definition of starseed, what do? You're planting a seed. It's okay to say something that triggers them, and then back off. Let it resonate. Let them think about it, and then eventually the people come back to you, and something else will come up in the conversation, and everybody's going at their own pace, and that's okay. That's how it's meant to be, and anything we can do to help people see some of the things we're seeing, and some of these new sciences and some of the things that are going on, and we could go into a lot with just medical science, what's out there with the future of the med beds, or Royal Rife figured out how to cure cancer 100 years ago, and it's been suppressed. I mean, go
I
down a
mean,
million
look at,
routes.
organise. Look at all these things. I mean, Christina Lee Dobbs does great stuff with her pyramids and
Yeah, yeah, all
stuff
the
like that.
organite.
Yeah,
Um,
the quantum
I bought
healing,
the. I don't know if you're familiar with Ken Rolla, but he's the speaker at ESETI. I bought his
right?
whole household machine, and let's just say I haven't seen as many chemtrails since I hooked it up. But
Wow,
it's greatly,
wow.
yes,
Ah, but again, even that Rife machine,
yeah,
it was, a friend that Randy, that she said she's getting one, and it's all about vibration. So when you understand frequency, that the whole
yeah.
universe is frequency. Your frequency.
Our bodies are frequency. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
manipulating. Think about the music industry. Why in the 1800s they
yeah,
made everything 432 hertz, and
yeah,
it was classical music, and that
yeah,
synchronizes with the Schumann resonance, which is the natural Earth frequency.
yeah,
So they
and
changed it to 440 to throw everything off,
yeah,
and
and
the binaural beats are connecting to different, basically consciousness levels.
I find binaural beats massive. I signed up to the Monroe Institute's app. Now, what's it called? And I find it.
Funny because I was just reading the report from the Monroe Institute on the CIA website like before you called me. I
Yeah,
printed it out.
yeah.
But
Hemi Sync. Now, before I got it, I did a bit of research because I was a bit concerned, right? That oh my god, if this is CIA funded, what the fuck is going to happen to me if I listen to this?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm not so sure I'd be the one off of the Monroe Institute. I think I
Manchurian candidate here, I'm just waiting for that frequency before I just go fucking mental, more mental than I actually am. But maybe I'm beating it because I am this crazy. But Bob Monroe's books is one of the things that kind of helped me in my awakening. About astral projection, about the work that he did do before the kind of CIA did
Oh
get
yeah,
involved. And some of his stories are, or some of his adventures are, incredible. And I'm going to be really open and honest with you. He talks about it can be quite sexual, right? There's a sexual energy that runs through you sometimes when you astral project, and you're like, but then I revisited some stuff, like mystical stuff, mermaids,
right.
succubus, and all these things, and you can talk to people, and like lucid dreaming. So to me, lucid dreaming isn't dreaming anymore. It's your astral projection, or you're
Right.
remembering sometimes of a different life, and there's occasions where you get down with a woman, and
Yeah.
hey, wake up. You go for a shower. Happy days. So,
My shit always wakes up before the good part of the day. It never fails, man.
especially when you get to a certain age, it's nothing to do with being young. I knew this conversation would go somewhere, mate. I really did. I want to talk some more about disclosure movies. One of my favourites.
I'm sorry. What's that?
No, it's alright. I thought we better cut it off before you and I get into some trouble.
I'm always in trouble.
And it's a happy place to be.
Yeah.
If anybody gets a jolt out of this, anybody, I'm more than content with it. I keep telling folk I wasn't born this ugly. I earned the fucking right. Every scar in my face, so there's nothing you can say or do to me that really affects me much anymore. But Jupiter Ascending was one for me.
I did not see that, but I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of people talking about it.
It talks about a galactic royal family. It talks about
Right.
harvest. That the harvest worlds, and
Right.
they literally destroy humans, but they cultivate the soul, and it gives them eternal youth. So to me, there's a huge bit of disclosure in there about galactic royal families. Rule certain galaxies, and you could say it's probably a bit of exposure for Dark Fleet, or
Right.
dark entities that they're willing to feed on humans to make them younger. So with all the stuff that you and I have kind of researched over the years, or what's been exposed the last 2-3 years, with regards to a certain hashtag pizza and then gate,
Right.
and then you understand that feeding off humans is it seems to be a royal or an elite pastime. So to me, and they do have draconian bodyguards. So
Yeah.
to me, there's huge pieces of disclosure there. But going back, Stargate you mentioned. Now
Right.
that's an interesting series.
Mm-hmm.
It covers Egypt, it covers Atlantis, it covers other
Yes.
bits as well. So portals on Earth, they must exist, eh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of them. We could go on a whole different rabbit hole, like within our Earth too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why is North and South poles a no-fly zone? Why is Antarctica a no-fly zone?
Yeah.
Why is the aurora borealis? You know, the
Yeah.
lights. Where are they coming from? You know. And
Yeah.
so
Do you know? But you know how we're pounded, right? Especially for the last 18, 20 months, we've been absolutely pounded left, right, and centre. Whether it's the media, whether it's the government, right round the world. And for me, when you finally realise that they're doing it for a reason, and it really does seem that they're trying to stop now whatever the ascension is, right?
right.
Whatever this 5D Earth is. So that brings us on nicely. So it's something that I'm trying to, because I don't know. I know there's tons of people, but to my understanding, it's going to be something incredible. I don't think it's something that we can put into words. It'll be a frequency. It'll be
Right.
whatever. Can you give me your not your ideas, but what do you feel it could be?
Yeah, I don't know that we can fully quantify what it is at this point because it's going to, like you say, we're understanding 1% of the visual spectrum, and when this happens, there's going to be so much more information. But for me, I think it's just going to signal unification and people growing together, and a beginning of us starting to understand our connection to frequencies, to how our body actually works, how real sciences are. I think it's going to be this overwhelming. I don't see it like a lot of people say, oh, we're going to have this solar flash, and it's going to be instant change. I think we're getting it every day. I mean, look what's happening with presidents. If you follow that, there's these. I feel those intensely when they come through. Like every time I feel a little bit off, I'm like, all I got to do is look on the human
it's the first place you look now, isn't it?
That sucker spiked big time. So it's all information coming in. Earth's, is putting this energy back out there, and that's another part of what's happening with our DNA, being recalibrated, connecting the telomeres and the chakras to the
I'm with you. I never thought I'd see the day that that I was feeling these energies. Now as well as I do. Some of these energies, they're so blissful. They're incredible. You're like, why the fuck am I so happy? And that's even a question.
To the bathroom too, though.
And then,
we won't go down that route. Got you on that one.
Oh shit! I knew you'd be trouble. I was so hoping for it. I was so hoping.
Yeah, you knew you were in deep shit.
I knew fucking exactly what was going on. I knew exactly what was going on. What I was saying was that I've never known me to ever look straight away for the human resonance now.
Right.
No, whether it's blissful or whether it's you feel.
I kind of nickname it the Shipman.
I absolutely get it.
I'm being a little facetious, but not too.
No, not at all. Because I'm with you. Because see, when that shit heavy energy hits you, you feel irritated. You feel full of anxiety. You come out almost. So it's almost a feeling now. You don't. It's not even a thought now. It's just you know when it's changed. I mean, even today, I'm telling you, I could hear the ringing in my ears change. It went from my left to my right, and then I went from absolute bliss. Now I know since kind of Monday we're sitting in almost 6 retrogrades at once. So I was preparing like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
It's coming.
Oh fuck, it's coming, because the whole of September I was reaching out to Aurora and that, and they were giving us readings and that, and then they were going, look, you're in for a hell of a month, by the way. And I was like, right, here we go, October's gonna kick in, oh fuck, and then I'm going, I feel quite blissful. Oh, have I over prepared here? And then, you know the way the universe works. No, you fucking haven't, idiot. Here you go, and you know, and takes the legs from you, and you're going, you bastard. All I had to do was keep my mouth shut. I just had to stay in the present moment, and I just had to keep my mouth shut.
I have a hard time with that part.
So dear.
The mouth shut part.
How do you deal with the heavy energies? Is it about staying present? Is it about, you know, drinking lots of water? Is it about meditating yourself through it? What would you say to somebody?
Yeah, definitely grounding it. Sometimes you just got to sleep when it hits, because, you know, integrate the energies, because, you know, people are feeling it. And people that probably don't understand what they're feeling, like, why am I so tired? Why does my body feel this way? Why am I achy? It's these energies are coming in, and they're unseen, but they're certainly felt, you know.
They are, yeah.
And if you're not understanding the reason or the science behind it, then, you know, it's screwing you up. You think this is wrong with you, think that's wrong with you. It's like, no, it's actually ascension energies. It's your body recalibrating to the new energies. It's, you know, the light coming in, and you know, releasing through the Schumann resonance, and, you know, it has to be done gradually, because, you know, we couldn't take it if it wasn't.
No, could you imagine being hit with that, you know, in one fell swoop? I do think, though, that there'll be some sort of event, because I think that will take out, you know, this you know, ancient AI. You know, it will hit, you know, the kind of dark entities, because, you know, one of the things, you know. Right, okay, here's from a British perspective, right, or a Scotsman perspective. 2014 we had the independence vote to separate from the United Kingdom, right? So 55% the nation voted, just in Scotland, voted no, we wanted to stay within the United Kingdom, right? So that caused division. 2016 we had the Brexit vote, so it was either stay in the European Union or leave. Again, I voted leave. Trump runs for office, and I'm going, oh, I'm not quite sure, but I would rather have, you know, Trump than Hillary. Then you start following him, you start realising the way they used to love him, and then it was manipulated. So you were then a Trump supporter, then a certain letter and favourite number appeared. So I've been called a racist, a gammon, you know, anti-Scottish, all these different things. And then they find out you're a Trump supporter, so you're then a white supremacist. You know what I mean? So, you know, you mentioned at the start of this, you know, chat, it is all about division. It is, and there's nothing more divided just now between the unjabbed and the jabbed. But you're seeing a lot of unjabbed and jabbed people absolutely against, you know, the vaccine passports type thing. So you made a great shout about how, you know, division works, divide and conquer. Whereabouts in the US do you live? Because I want to see what it's like for you. And where
am I at?
Yeah.
In the US? Oh, I'm like an hour away from the swamp there. I'm 1 hour outside of DC, and lived in this area for way too long. Yeah. You know, part of my life, and that's actually one of the things that's getting ready to change. You know, when I've actually bought an RV recently, and
wow, you going for
it? And I got a spot in Sarasota, Florida. And I'm going to spend a good portion of my time there after the first year. I'm going to take several trips between now and then, and actually get together with some friends in the community. And I might do some videos when we do that too, and stuff. Fuck, but
I'm blown away for you. I can see it in your face. Just that, you know, kind of whole look. That this shit ain't resonating with me anymore. I'm making these changes.
Yeah, I am. It's, you know, something I've wanted to do my whole life, and I'm finally doing it. And I'm going to do my own YouTube channel probably right around the first year.
Fucking go for it, man.
Yeah, and
honestly,
it's gonna be a little different format, because, like, again, I don't want to regurgitate the same information that everybody else has out there. But I have a friend that's very connected, and everywhere we go, we'll see ships every night, and we're going to.
Oh my God, that would be amazing! I love that.
Talk about all the different bullshit, you know, topics. It doesn't matter what it is. We're just gonna freelance, and I don't want anything.
Oh yeah.
I just want to fly.
Do you know what? That sounds brilliant. Oh, that sounds
about
brilliant.
Things, but we ended up like 20 other subjects.
Yeah, I just want this to be two guys that fucking love each other, you know,
Yeah.
much respect for each other, and it's just like if we were in the same place, we're in the house or in the pub,
Yeah.
and just the way we would talk. Okay, we're not going to talk about women and that because that would be
Yeah.
slightly disrespectful. But hey, they're nothing better than a Trump supporter, awakened, you know, disclosure, you know, women.
Yeah.
They're absolutely incredible. They're beautiful inside and out. They're just tremendous people.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're going to do this and you're going to do it on a journey and you're going to stop at night and you're going to have whatever insane chat, I think
Right.
that would be an absolute joy, an absolute, that will take off, Barry. Honestly, I can't wait for that. I really cannot. I think
appreciate
that would be brilliant.
You know, if like you say, if it helps one person, or just if people just see the ships and they get curious and want to come out and see, you know, or if we don't see the ships and we just bullshit a whole lot and something good comes out of it that triggers something that helps somebody, then you know. Then,
do you know there's a huge rise in this now. There is a huge rise in this. It's almost, and I'll ask you this as well. I remember at the start of lockdown, there was a lot of compassion. There was a lot of people checking out, you know, and neighbours. Yes, there was still the toilet roll wars and fucking various other things, right? But there was a lot of compassion. There was a lot of empathy. You know, people looking out for each other. And then it turned pretty quickly when we realised it wasn't 3 weeks to flatten the curve. Then we were in lockdown and we were out of lockdown. But it seems that people in our community now, whether you're in the background, because I know you do a lot of support stuff, you do a lot of connections, you do admin stuff in the groups, you know, on Facebook or on Telegram, you do the stuff that you say, you do all these kind of great things, but the community does seem to be stepping out. Now, everybody, you know, layman terms, and people are just stepping out.
Everybody has a piece of the puzzle here. And I'll tell you, the one thing that was great about the East Texas Conference this year is that there wasn't any, at least on site, there wasn't any big name speakers. It was all people in our community. It was all our friends. And I was just, a lot of them were first time speakers. I was just so happy to see them get their voice and to get up there and just presentations like Tyler and Abby. It was their first time.
Brilliant people doing it. But like you said, it gives you that, you know, because you know, there's no disrespect here at all, but you know, the way they too and a lot of the others, you know, that have built a platform, you know, I mean, I look at, you know, Tyler, Aaron and Nicole, they gave me, there was no qualms about coming on to do this, you know. It was like, we'll fucking support you, and what it says to me is that they're saying to you, everybody's got a voice, everybody's got something to say, everybody's got an experience, and the more people that kind of stand in that, like you, like I, that should have that kind of domino effect for everybody to do it.
Absolutely. And you know, one thing too, like with me getting out there doing this, I want to reach out to everybody in the community. Like, I don't, you know, because I know a lot of them, you know, I want to go out with all my friends or meet new friends. And I see one of the ways moving forward. Have you followed any of Michael Tellinger's work?
I have.
And Ubuntu, where, you know, the intentional community thing. I really see that as the way forward. And that branching out, and it's going to be different in different areas, but I really see us all ending up in one spot and then spreading that out, and then as people, you know, start realizing, you know, where they're at and where they want to be, and just a growing thing, and just you know, kind of like the old days. They take the technology out of it, have townships, have everybody working together, you know, do away with the money system. It's all part of the future, I believe.
Absolutely. There's a movement here. I can't remember the first name, but it's a trust, and you can almost divorce the government, so to speak. Let's call it that, right? And they're building a community.
You got a lawyer for that? Because I would sign up.
I've got the paperwork. So I do.
It's probably like what Nicole Frolic was talking about with.
It's exactly that, so they've got that, and they're saying, you know, that the money to
sovereign citizen thing.
Sovereign citizen. They've negotiated gun rights, like the Second Amendment. So even if you look at the Constitution was based on the 1216 Magna Carta, which was just a worldwide common law. You know, it put the people at the same level as you wanted to say, let's say royalty. So nobody was beneath, everybody was at the same level. And they talk about, look, to make the community work, everybody would need to maybe empty the bins or power, the electric, and they've generated, and they're looking at cryptocurrency or whatever. But these are popping up all over Scotland, all over the UK, and you're going, wow, you can literally you can live the life that you want to, still within this, I don't know, matrix or whatever you want to call it. But you can literally live off the land because you're then farming for your whole township. You're farming, or you're building, a town hall for everybody. Just like what you're talking, the way Nicole's, interviewed people, and the trust agreement. It's a legal document because it's all based on Magna Carta, which, we people don't realise that there's still so much of the articles in Magna Carta that are lawful nowadays. And everything that the government's imposed on us, no matter what way you look at it, it's
they've infringed on every right, every constitutional law. No, nothing that they're doing is legal, but
no,
people are too quick to give away their sovereignty. They just, they follow.
I want you to fight for your freedoms like you did for petrol and toilet roll. But one thing I've realised is that it goes back, maybe why people don't want to go to ESA. They don't want that to break, but there must be something deep inside them to say something's not right. But it's almost that kind of, you said it, the cognitive dissonance. I think it's almost a blind loyalty to say, oh no, it's okay, see if I just put my head in the sand a wee bit longer, this shit'll just go away. And you're going, look, the last 20 months, we've got to live with this. To a degree. I'm not getting into the whole, the way the virus is mutated, and some of the names that they've called it. I mean, the latest one's the Mu virus, and I'm going, oh, for fuck's sake, man, come on, but there's always going to be something. So COVID's almost taking a back seat now in the UK, and it's all petrol or all fuel, and then now it's going to be food shortages, and you don't want to sit back and go, I fucking told you so, we fucking told you to prepare. Because, listen, there may be a time for that. I'm not interested in it. If somebody wants to ask me for help, I'll help them.
It's not productive to do that, though. It's not, because we're all where we are right now, and I saw it. You saw it the minute it happened. I knew exactly the reason, the energy, and where it was. Probably it's taken a few turns, but we knew it was a power play and it was a control play, and it's. It's a real virus, but it's man-made. We know that, and they're using it.
Where the
man conform. Get the,
and never not go back to normal. And then, a lot of them are now going, look, we've done all this. We've been jabbed, we've been whatever, we've done all this, and you're still telling us it's not good enough. And then even the vaccine passport thing, and you're going, guys, this is just the start of something worse. So you sign up for this, it'll become, there's even talk here, like regarding the booster, and I heard, and I can't confirm it, but I'm just throwing it out there, that the third or fourth booster you'll need to pay for yourself.
Yeah, then people won't do it.
Yeah.
Why anything that the government's trying to give you for free, you should be highly speculative of. I would say that it's because they don't do anything for free. They take your money in every other angle. Why do they want to give you? Why do they want to give you flu shots? Why do they want to give you COVID shots? There might be an agenda behind it.
But what's the rhetoric? Without government, we wouldn't have roads. Yeah, is that the only fucking reason? Have you seen the state of the roads here? They can't even fucking do that right. Do you know? And again, it's taxpayer money. Listen, I love hearing the way some, especially the left in America, are going about healthcare, and they use the UK as a prime example. Oh, it's free to everybody. Is it? Is it fucking free? Do you know it's the taxpayer that pays for it? The government doesn't generate nothing, and we might have this free healthcare access to everybody, but it's not a universal right, and it's not fit for purpose. So stop using the UK to think it's, oh look, that's what free healthcare looks like, because it's not free. In Scotland, it's a postcode lottery for your mental health. People in Aberdeen do not have the same access that we would have down here in the Central Belt. So some people need to travel 200-300 miles to come here and spend money overnight to say they need to see 2 or 3 appointments over a week. I mean, that's not cost reimbursable. They've got to do that out of their own pocket because there's only 2 facilities for 5.5 million people. So that's not free healthcare.
No. Well, the whole purpose of Obamacare was just to destroy the whole healthcare industry in the U.S. It just like one payer universal healthcare, and I could go on that rabbit hole because I actually was making my living doing that, had a nice income off of health insurance, and it was like the rug got ripped out from under me. Like just like I've had to change careers so many times I can't even. But I don't. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
But the thing is, you're conscious about these things. Coincidence is something that I'm absolutely certain it might exist in a very, very small percentage, but we didn't connect out of coincidence.
Right.
We connected for a reason. We all did. Whether we pre-agreed this before we all came here. And one of the things I used to question was, the likes of, say, me and Gary's along in Glasgow, I'm here on the East Coast, but most of the people that we know and love are over with you. You're all in the US. And I've often thought to myself, why the fuck would we, incarnate so far away from everybody? Yeah. And it wasn't until somebody said to me, because you were needed there. That light, whatever it is, you just had to be you.
Yeah. We're all
in that area.
Yeah. There is a reason. And we will all connect where, we will. Like we're meant to all connect. Everybody that needs to, and I truly believe a lot of the family members that we're not connecting with now, that we'll all reconnect with them. I really hold it.
I do.
I've lost a few that passed away recently, but I haven't lost them based on my belief system so far, at least.
No, I'm with you.
It's been a little tenuous at times.
Yeah. And that's still the 3D part of us. You still miss that person being physically here, hearing their voice. But you made a great shout that, I've spoken to my mother. She's been away since 2015. I've spoken to her like half a dozen times, even my grandmother last year. I've spoken to her twice. And to know that that's still available, it's fucking mind-blowing. But don't get me wrong, would I still rather have both of them here? Absolutely. Of course I would, and it's the same for you. But I love the way you put that even family members I still live in hope, I still live in faith that, it's not that I want them to come back and say, oh, you were right or whatever. I don't give a fuck anymore. I just want it to put it in the past and never be brought up again. If we need to deal with, some shit, let's do that. But let's just move forward, let's, enjoy the time, because we got a tremendous, gift coming towards us. Humanity, dogs, animals, Earth's going to have something beautiful that we really can't put into words. We've no real idea, but there's an inner knowing that something tremendous is coming.
Yep, and we're going through the eye of the needle right now with all this. I mean, and we saw certain things that woke us up a few years ago, but this COVID is waking people up. It's
en masse, mate. En masse.
But, that is their pressure point. It's their
precipice. Yep.
They're living in deathly fear. They're rolling around wearing masks. I go to places with 500 people and hang out. I could give a shit less. But it's like it really hasn't affected my life. Other than it pisses me off when I have to wear a mask on an airplane. But and then I'm just like, I just shake my head. People riding down the road in a car or a bike with their mask on, but it's like, all right, well, that's their process. That's what they need to learn. But
absolutely, it's a great shout. And again, many people have said, oh, you still get faith in a certain letter or number and something. I'm going, right, okay. Let's do it in a different perspective. If we were just saved, let's say we never changed our attitude, we never changed the way we lived, and they just saved us. And then he'd take out this 6,000 year or however long it is fucking cult of Satanists. How long do you think the human race would have fucked it up anyway? Because we never made, you only make real change when you're a fucking rock bottom, and that is where real change comes from. So yes, it's fucking difficult. Yes, it's it's soul destroying at times. You don't want to see people being hurt, but for me, there's only one side trying to hurt innocent people now.
Right.
Whereas previous world wars or whatever, both sides couldn't give a toss about us.
it's the same thing always. It's always been the same,
Yeah,
strategy. It's just it's an algorithm actually. They just do the
yeah,
same over and over, and they rebrand it for the new generation and
yeah.
whatever's trendy. But it's the same energy. It's the same division strategy. It's just over and over.
It's a
And
fucking
once you pick up
successful
on
one,
it,
isn't it?
it kind of it's like, oh, and you can see it for what it is right away. But a lot of people are they're locked in that polarization, and they're just
Yeah,
not there yet. And
yeah,
honestly, I just want to be there to help them when they start figuring out, that hey,
yeah.
we've been duped. You
Yep,
know,
yep,
the
yep.
government's not looking out for you.
Yeah.
What you see on TV is about 90% fake, and probably about 75% of what you see in the movies is real. So
Yeah, there you go. There you
just
go.
kind
I
of
mean,
flip that shit, and then you kind of got
yeah,
to figure it out
yeah.
a little. It's like
So here's a great
it's
bit of
cool. Yeah.
advice. Here's a great bit of advice. Go and watch some major movies. Go and watch Marvel.
Right.
Go and watch sci-fi films, because see the
Yeah.
bit that they're not telling you is that they're telling you their plans, but good always wins.
Yeah.
Right? And every time, I'm not saying go into horror movies, which is another fucking bit of disclosure you could go down, right? Werewolves,
Yeah.
fucking, energy vampires.
Right.
But I will periodically jump back in to watch a movie, and go. I mean, remember the thing that they streamed, was it Netflix or Prime? They streamed a season of Utopia, where they showed their plans that it wasn't really about depopulation, but it was about to make kids sterile. And
Right.
then and you're going, oh fucking hell, look at this. But
Yeah. I think that's a big part of this agenda right now too, with the
so the I
way to do it. You're cutting off future generations with you're sterilizing them. So
hey, instead of mass murdering billions, right?
right.
Because folk are going to notice that shit.
Yeah.
Sterile the next generation, and you literally control the world's population, and then you can start taking who you need out. I mean, I know this is fucking mental, but that's some plan, by the way. It's an evil fucking plan, but
Right there on the Georgia Guidestones.
yeah, it's a fucking wicked plan. When you think about it, it's well thought out. It's like we'll sterilize, then we'll start taking out the troublemakers. But nothing good comes from the best things come when you're facing adversity. And again, that you could go into any kind of heroic movie. I mean, to me, this is almost playing out like Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey, and it just
Right.
happens to be 17 steps. And I think we've all went through that time. I know this is going to sound mad, but sometimes I'll black pill myself, and I find it quite helpful because it grounds me. I'll fucking go, that's it, we're fucked, we're not getting out of this shit, we just need to make the best of it, it's all this. And then
Right.
seeing I release that out vocally, I'll go, oh, but hold on a minute, oh, so it makes me start thinking again. So I'm releasing almost that negativity through the black pill.
Right.
The words are now out there, and it's almost, I'm not saying that I'm some sort of genius, I can see these fucking formulas and words in front of me, I can't, but it releases, it's out there, and then I can start putting things back together again, and I'll go, hey, I'm okay again, so it's a process I find helpful for grounding. Nothing's better than getting out into the forest. We're lucky,
Right.
just getting lost for a couple of hours, through the forest, but I do find it slightly helpful, like literally black pilling myself, but I don't go on social media and go, that's it, we're fucked. I don't think that's helpful,
I
like,
don't believe that. I call me optimistic, but I see, the greatest path forward for humanity.
I know you do.
Turn
Yeah.
around. I see a beautiful new future for everyone.
Yeah.
People, the economic system and the political system
Yeah,
just fall by the wayside, and
Yeah.
people, coming into communities as they are, as
Yeah.
they're ready, and forming new communities and societies, and creating a better world. So
That's the thing I love about
I'm
you,
going to hold
though.
that vibe no matter
Yeah,
what.
and you use the right phrase for me, that you're an optimistic. You will get people that are really, really positive, and I mean like insanely positive. I'm no there, but I'm not entirely negative. I try and keep that balance, with leaning on the side of kind of optimism. But again, it's like, it's like, when to message me. You don't but for some level, on some level you do, and it just picks me right up. And I
Right.
think
I'm
people,
glad I could do that for you.
no, but people like you are massive because you're not, you're not selling some sort of, utopian future. You're what you're stating is what you feel, and that optimism is, this is what we've got coming, but we've got to
Yeah.
work towards that. And Matthew said the other night, and I've heard you talk about it before. It's like you've got to, you're living your highest vibe or your highest timeline. So if you do that individually, yes, you can
Right.
have days where it fucking takes the legs from you and all the rest of it, but bouncing back towards that just impacts everybody.
Yeah. And
And
I
I,
mean, this is a
I think
boots on the
you're a
ground.
walking, you're literally a walking kind of, you embody that, and I think that's one of the things I really love about you.
Yeah. Well, this is a boots on the ground job too.
Yeah.
And I think where a lot of people are going wrong is we're not being around other people. We're just saying, "Oh, I'm only going to be around this group of people or that group of people." But we need to be around people in general because if we're
Yeah,
just
everybody.
around our
Yeah.
own group of people, then that's no good. People are just starving for answers. And it's funny
Yeah.
when I was in Florida for a few days, just checking out the
Yeah.
place I'm going to be at, people were just coming up to me and asking me questions, and a lot
Brilliant.
of people were getting it. They
Yeah.
especially there because they're a lot more open minded than
Yeah.
where I'm at. Half the states, along the DC corridor, on the swamp, and they're so brainwashed. But
I love that
it's
you
very
keep calling it the
refreshing to go
swamp.
somewhere
Yeah.
where, like, damn, these people, they're figuring it out, and this is
Yeah.
really cool. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to getting down here and spending some time. So, but
Well,
it's
and
a
it's
good
great
thing.
that you're getting that. I mean, but you are attracting that because of who you are. You are your authentic self, and people will fall away, unfortunately, but you will attract the right people,
Right.
and those people might always not be fully aware or awakened, but they know something's not right. But they're kind
Yeah.
of drawn to that kind of personality. And I think it's massive and a great shout, boots on the ground. And if it's just within our own community or in that on those groups, I think it's massively helpful.
Yeah.
Although I'm not as in many groups as I used to be, I just had to do some grounding, I had to do some healing, I had to had to work on myself, I had to get where I needed to be.
It's an ongoing process. We know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It
But it
is.
can become a bit of an echo chamber if you're not using the information you're learning within the groups to then, take it back outside. And I keep saying that, use the Matrix. There we go, the biggest disclosure movie or documentary that there is. And
Yeah.
even Neo had to reconnect and plug himself back into the Matrix to break it. So
Yeah.
we're only going to break this from the inside. And like you said, you're only going to do that if your boots on the ground, you're out there, and you're giving that out freely to everybody.
Yeah, we all agreed to this, before we got here. I just still want to see that damn contract, but
No, I know because I've got this mental idea that I'm sitting there with my higher self, right, and he's got the contract and he's going, right, on the left hand column it's what you can have, but you'll have a fucking tough time.
Yeah.
And on the right hand side you can you'll live a simple life, you'll do these things, but here's the lessons and it'll not be too intense. So to me it's that dark sense of humour that I've got, and we don't get enough credit being Scottish British for that. We do have a we can be a miserable race. We complain when it's raining, we complain when it's warm. That's why we only go abroad for 14 days a year, because we only can cope with 14 days of good weather. But see when somebody's down, see when somebody's feeling it, we have this incredible way of using that trauma and putting a kind of unique joke on it, and it really brings people back. And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for that. Do you know what I mean? Because we invented copper wire because we've two guys fought over a penny, a copper penny, and it stretched out the copper. But I just think there's a need for it. There's a need for that kind of. It's almost an inbuilt grounding thing that something good happens to you, and we're like, oh well, it'll soon turn to shit anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that we're negative. It just means our outlook is just slightly different. So you know,
Yeah, we all have people in our lives, even family members, like that. You talk to them, and like even though they get certain aspects, it's gonna the negative's gonna come out no matter what.
Yeah.
And you gotta hear that before you can get to the positive. But it's
yeah.
But it's all good.
It is, and again, you made a great shout about the time that we're in now. It is about boots on the ground. It is about connecting. It is about it's about human connection now. I mean, don't get me wrong. The digital realm has been so helpful for many things, but the censorship's crazy now.
Right.
To me, having this next step so I can talk to you and so many others lives, fucking brilliant. But I know deep within myself, it's not just about so you can post these, but it's about what I learn from you. I can then, even just walking the dog, just giving somebody a shout, going,
we all learn something from talking to one another and interacting with one another, and it's amazing. And I'm a people person. I love being out there. I've been in sales my whole life, and and it's just, I'm comfortable talking to people.
Yeah,
now I'm more comfortable talking in front of a camera. That's been my biggest challenge. But
and I think you've been absolutely superb. You had me almost wetting myself when you mentioned the toilet, and I was like, "This is brilliant." And and it's what's needed. I just, again, if it helps one person, if it makes somebody smile for 10 minutes and think,
if we made people laugh and we told them something, or put something out there that made them think on some level that triggered something.
Absolutely.
It's all worth it.
Absolutely. And we've to do as much the kind of shadow work as we do the kind of positive side of things, but you mentioned it. It never stops the process. When you learn your lessons, they're always still there, but you've just grown enough spiritually or whatever, or aware enough to realise the red flags or the triggers, so that they're always still there, but you've grown enough to realise that you don't let it affect you the way you do, but it's always there.
Yeah, you have to process it and let it.
Yeah.
And move past it, but it's an ongoing thing. It always is.
It's mental.
I feel like we're a lot closer than we were, even though it's it seems so bad right now.
Yep.
I just feel like we're almost on the other side of it, and we're almost into a very beautiful place where it's all going to look completely different.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I think it's the precipice is we're in it. I don't know how much more the deep stank, as you like to call it, or the swamp can throw at us, because they're really running out of fucking ideas now. But you're seeing people rise throughout the world. France, Australia, UK, parts of the US, Canada, Brazil. I mean, it must be every country in the world now that they're all kind of going, no, fuck this, we've had enough.
It has to affect people on a personal enough level to where they feel like they have no other choice but
there you go.
Basically. And when they're backed in the corner, they are going to push back. They will.
Yeah, and a lot, especially with people that's just maybe awakened in the last year, and they keep asking, that's what we're here to do, and they'll go, why doesn't everybody see it? And I'll go, well, it's maybe that they don't see it. They definitely feel something, but they're at the stage now that they need to reach their own precipice. They need to feel as if, and that's coming. Now that's coming where they roll out to the kids, whatever it is, that, we must be within an imminent timescale now of all those people that don't see it now finding their precipice.
And we're seeing that in certain states in the U.S. like Florida and what is it, South Dakota and Texas, quite a few states. They're
absolutely.
They're basically, saying we're not dealing with this bullshit. We're we're going to run our state the way that we feel we should.
Great.
Run it. And it's creating a division, but it's also creating a strength and people they're standing up and it's creating new leaders. And
I mean the world, see, when you see the people that are standing up, I mean everybody's now researching, whether it's going down these rabbit holes, going down whatever, but they're researching law, they're researching medicine, they're researching alternative medicine, they're switching off the mainstream media, and every one of these people could stand for office, so to speak, right? And we're in a far better place if these people, So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
we're headed. You're absolutely right, and it's even just changing that perspective that the right people want to stand. You know, I would think, see, grandmothers and dogs would make the best politicians because they've seen everything.
Yes, they would.
You know, dogs have unconditional love, and grandmas just
Yeah,
can't be bought. You
yeah.
know, they just cannot be fucking bought. You know, they're just impossible to buy off. They're, you know,
Yeah.
you could see them, at, you know, doing the budget for the year, handing out rich tea biscuits and tea and cake, and you know what I mean, and slapping folk in the head
Yeah,
if they get out of
they call it
line.
the way it is.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, you're absolutely right. You know, we've got an incredible, you know, future that's so close to us right now. But you know, we only can make the difference in the present moment. And you
Yep.
know, whether that's, you know, writing to your MP or going to protest or doing whatever, even doing the inner work, you know, has such an impact. But you know, great shout about the boots on the ground, and you know, it's tremendous to think that we're going to have something incredible that you and I and so many others are going to literally see. You know,
Absolutely.
you know, I can't wait to see the, you know, ships in the sky and, you know,
Yeah.
landing, and you know, you and I might be off to other planets to, you know, to sell insurance
Yeah.
or bricks or mortar to folk in Jupiter on the other side of the universe. I think it's great to
Uh,
think of that, you
so much,
know.
so much we haven't seen,
Oh yeah,
and I look forward to us being able to.
yeah. Barry, thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
brother.
this.
Thank you.
I've done nothing but
Absolutely.
laugh and enjoy it. Honestly, to have known you for so long now, to and message and to actually speak to you live,
Yeah.
it's been one of the most wonderful experiences you know, I could have gotten. I'd like to do it again.
Yeah.
You know, in
Absolutely.
a few
Likewise,
weeks'
brother.
time. I think you've been absolutely brilliant in this. Fair play for, you know, stepping into your power for this. I think your idea with the RV is just tremendous. You've got my, you know, you've got my full support. You know, I'll do
Thank
whatever
you.
you need to do, and I think people will really, really enjoy this. I really do. I
I
think
think
there's
so.
been,
Too. I hope so. I hope.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, my
Honestly,
pleasure, brother. Much
you
love.
absolutely honour me. Thank you. Have a lovely night, and I'll
All
speak
right.
to you soon. Thank you
Yeah.
so
Take care,
much.
brother.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye.